The search for abundance has been framed as an external pursuit. You have been told to chase the money, to strive for the success, and to hustle for the dream. But what if this entire paradigm is flawed? What if true, lasting, and soul-deep abundance is not something you get, but something you are? The truth is, there is a magnificent and infinitely abundant universe that exists within you, the universe of your own soul. The outer world of wealth, of opportunity, and of joy that you seek is nothing more than a mirror reflection of this inner landscape. This guide is not about chasing the reflection. It is about tending to the source. It is a journey inward, to connect with the quiet voice of your soul, to uncover its true calling, and to align your life with its profound wisdom. Prepare to discover that the most fulfilling life is not built, it is revealed. The soul of abundance, manifesting a life that truly fulfills you. Written and published by Success Attraction Formula. Chapter 1. Connecting with the voice of your soul. Imagine that within the very core of your being, there exists a wise, an ancient, and an infinitely loving guide. This guide holds the perfect and complete blueprint for your most joyful, your most prosperous, and your most magnificently fulfilling life. It knows your unique gifts, it understands your deepest desires, and it is aware of the highest and most beautiful path available to you. This guide is your soul, and it is always, in every single moment, speaking to you. It is constantly whispering its guidance, its wisdom, and its encouragement. The only question is, are you listening? For most of us, for most of our lives, the answer is no. We are living our lives almost exclusively from our heads, guided by the loud, anxious, and often critical voices of our ego, of our past conditioning, and of the society we live in. We are navigating our journey with 1,000 different noisy and unreliable maps, all while completely ignoring the perfect, infallible compass that exists within us. This profound disconnection from our own soul is the root cause of all feelings of emptiness, of confusion, and of a life that feels inauthentic and unfulfilling, no matter how much external success we may achieve. We feel a quiet, persistent sense that something is missing, and that something is the sound of our own inner voice. The first and most essential step on the path to a soulfully abundant life is to begin the sacred and beautiful work of connecting with the voice of your soul. You must learn to distinguish the quiet, calm, and loving whisper of your soul from the loud, urgent, and often fearful shouts of your ego and your conditioned mind. The voice of your soul is your direct line to the infinite intelligence of the universe. It is the source of all true inspiration, all authentic desire, and all genuine fulfillment. Aligning your life with this gentle, inner voice is the ultimate secret to creating a life that is not just financially rich, but is rich in every sense of the word, rich with purpose, with joy, with love, and with a deep and abiding sense of peace. The journey to the soul of abundance is not an outward journey of acquisition, but an inward journey of connection. It begins not with doing, but with the profound and simple act of learning to be still and to listen. To begin this journey of connection, you must first understand the different qualities of the voices within you. The voice of your ego and your conditioned mind is almost always loud, demanding, and urgent. It speaks the language of fear, of comparison, of shoulds, and of have-tos. It is the voice that tells you, you need to work harder, you're not good enough, or what will people think? It often creates a feeling of contraction, of tension, and of anxiety in your body. The voice of your soul, on the other hand, is almost always quiet, calm, and gentle. It is a whisper, not a shout. It speaks the language of love, of possibility, of peace, and of encouragement. Its guidance often comes not as a string of words, but as a simple, quiet feeling of rightness, as an intuitive nudge, or as a sense of expansive joy. The voice of your soul will never ever be critical, judgmental, or fear-based. It is a voice of pure, unconditional love. Your first task is to simply become aware of this distinction. As you move through your day, you will begin to notice the different voices and the different feelings they produce within you, without any need to change them at first. You are simply learning to tell them apart. The most powerful and direct way to begin to hear the quiet voice of your soul is to practice creating silence. In a world that is filled with constant noise and distraction, silence has become a rare and precious commodity. Your soul's voice is a whisper, and it can only be heard in the quiet. The practice is to intentionally and lovingly create small, sacred pockets of silence in your day. This does not mean you need to retreat to a monastery. It can begin with just 5 or 10 minutes. You might choose to wake up 10 minutes earlier in the morning, and before you look at your phone or engage with the world, you will simply sit in silence. You will not try to do anything. You will just sit, you will breathe, and you will listen to the quiet. Another practice is to take a silent walk. You will go for a walk in nature, or even just around your neighborhood, and you will leave your phone and your headphones behind. You will simply walk, and you will pay attention to the world around you and to the quiet space within you. These small, consistent acts of creating silence are like turning down the volume on the loud, chaotic radio of your ego mind. In the emerging stillness, the beautiful, clear, and quiet broadcast of your soul can finally begin to be heard. As you create this silence, you can begin to actively invite your soul's voice to speak to you. A powerful way to do this is through intuitive journaling. This is different from regular journaling, which is often a record of your conscious thoughts. Intuitive journaling is the act of creating a written dialogue with your soul. You will take your journal, and at the top of the page, you will write down a gentle, open-ended question. It might be, "Dear soul, what is the most loving thing for me to know today?" Or, "Dear soul, what is one small step I can take toward my highest joy?" Then you will quiet your mind, take a few deep breaths, and you will simply begin to write whatever words, phrases, or images come into your mind, without any judgment or censorship. You will let your hand move freely across the page. Do not worry if it makes sense. The goal is to bypass the critical, logical mind and to allow the deeper, intuitive wisdom of your soul to flow through you and onto the page. When you read back what you have written, you will often be astonished at the profound, simple, and loving wisdom that has emerged. You are creating a direct and tangible connection with your own inner guide. You are now beginning the most sacred and important relationship of your entire life, the relationship with your own soul. You are learning to distinguish its quiet, loving voice from the loud, fearful shouts of your ego. You are creating the sacred silence that is necessary to hear its whispers. But connection is always a two-way street. It is not just about you speaking to your soul, but about your willingness to truly and deeply listen to its replies. How do you now move from just creating silence to becoming a masterful and a receptive listener? What is the profound and beautiful practice of deep inner listening that will allow you to receive your soul's magnificent wisdom with perfect and unerring clarity? Remember to subscribe to Success Attraction Formula, give this video a like, and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 2. The Practice of Deep Inner Listening. Learning to listen to the whisper of your own soul is much like learning to hear a specific, beautiful instrument in the midst of a massive and complex symphony orchestra. When you first enter the concert hall, all you hear is the magnificent, overwhelming, and combined sound of 100 different instruments playing at once. It can be difficult to distinguish the sound of a single violin from the sound of a cello, or the sound of a flute from the sound of a clarinet. But if you are a trained musician, or if you simply sit and listen with a deep, focused, and patient attention, something magical begins to happen. You can learn to intentionally isolate the sound of that single, beautiful violin. You can begin to follow its unique melody as it weaves its way through the powerful symphony. You can learn to hear its individual voice. This is the art of deep, focused listening, and it is the exact same skill you must cultivate to hear the voice of your soul. The great challenge is that we have been conditioned to listen for guidance only with our ears and with our logical minds. We are waiting for a loud, clear, verbal command, a booming voice from the heavens. But the soul does not usually speak in this way. The soul speaks in a much more subtle, a more nuanced, and a more holistic language. It speaks through the language of feelings, of intuition, of energy, and of the quiet sensations of your own body. We are listening for a sentence when we should be listening for a symphony. The transformative and most beautiful solution is to expand your definition of listening. You must learn to listen not just with your ears, but with your entire being. This is the practice of deep inner listening. It is the art of becoming so exquisitely and so sensitively attuned to your own inner world that you can perceive the subtle, nonverbal messages that your soul is constantly sending you. It is about understanding that your body is a magnificent and a highly sensitive receiving instrument, a divine antenna that is constantly picking up on the vibrational guidance of your soul. When you can learn to quiet the chatter of your logical mind and to turn your gentle, loving attention to the subtle sensations and feelings within your own body, you are learning to hear the language of your soul in its purest and most direct form. This is not a mystical or a difficult skill. It is your natural, inherent ability. It is simply a matter of remembering how to listen to the quiet, wise, and loving wisdom that is already and always present within you. The first and most direct way to practice deep inner listening is to learn to use your body compass. Your physical body is an incredibly intelligent and truthful instrument, and it is in constant communication with your soul. Your body cannot lie. It is constantly giving you direct, real-time feedback about what is in alignment with your highest good and what is not. The language it speaks is the language of physical sensation, primarily the sensations of expansion and of contraction. When a thought, a choice, or a situation is in true alignment with your soul's path, your body will respond with a feeling of expansion. This might feel like a sense of openness in your chest, a feeling of lightness, a relaxation in your shoulders, or a simple quiet feeling of yes. When a thought, a choice, or a situation is out of alignment, your body will respond with a feeling of contraction. This might feel like a tightness in your stomach, a knot in your throat, a sense of heaviness, or a clear, visceral feeling of no. The practice is to begin to consult your body compass before making your daily decisions, especially the small ones. For example, you are trying to decide between two different social invitations for a Friday night. Your logical mind might be weighing the pros and cons. You will pause, you will close your eyes, and you will first imagine going to the first event. Pay close attention to your body. Does it feel expansive or contractive? Then you will imagine going to the second event. Again, you will check in with your body. By learning to trust the subtle, physical yes or no from your body, you are learning to follow the direct and infallible guidance of your soul. Another powerful practice for deep inner listening is to use journaling as translation. As we have discussed, your soul often communicates in the nonverbal language of feelings, of images, and of symbols. Your journal can become a sacred and a powerful tool for translating this subtle, symbolic language into the conscious, understandable language of words. This is different from just recording your thoughts. This is an active process of receiving and transcribing. The practice is often called automatic writing or intuitive journaling. You will sit with your journal in your quiet, sacred space. You will take a few deep breaths to quiet your conscious mind. Then you will ask your soul, your higher self, a specific and an open-ended question. It might be, what is the most important message for me to receive today? Or please give me clarity on this challenging situation. After you have asked the question, you will place your pen on the paper and you will simply begin to write. You will write whatever comes into your mind without any judgment, any censorship, or any attempt to make it sound good. You will simply let the words flow through you and onto the page. You must trust the process. At first, it may feel strange, but if you persist, you will often find that a profound, a wise, and a loving stream of consciousness begins to emerge, a voice that is calmer, wiser, and more loving than your usual ego-based thoughts. When you read back what you have written, you will often find the perfect answer, the exact insight, and the clear guidance that you were seeking. The third principle of deep inner listening is to learn to honor the wisdom of your dreams. Your dreaming state is a powerful and a direct portal to the wisdom of your soul and your subconscious mind. When you are asleep, the loud, critical, and logical part of your mind is at rest, which allows the deeper, more symbolic, and more intuitive parts of you to communicate freely. Your dreams are often filled with rich, symbolic messages, with creative solutions to problems, and with profound guidance about your life's path. The practice is to simply begin to pay attention to your dreams. You will place a dream journal and a pen by your bedside. Your final thought before you fall asleep will be a simple, gentle intention. Tonight, I am open to receiving clear and helpful guidance from my dreams. When you first wake up in the morning, before you do anything else, you will take a few moments to lie still and to see what fragments, what feelings, or what images from your dreams are still present. You will write them down immediately, without trying to interpret them at first. The simple act of recording your dreams signals to your subconscious mind that you are listening, which will often cause your dreams to become more vivid and more memorable. Over time, as you review your dream journal, you will begin to see recurring themes, powerful symbols, and clear, loving messages emerging from the beautiful, mysterious, and wise world of your own inner universe. You are now learning to listen with your entire being. You are learning to hear the subtle, the beautiful, and the profoundly wise language of your own soul. You are no longer just living from your head. You are beginning to live from the deep and the sacred wisdom of your heart and your body. And as you continue to listen more and more deeply, a magnificent, a unique, and a beautiful message will begin to emerge with greater and greater clarity. What is the great and sacred work that you uniquely came here to do? How do you now begin to synthesize all of this deep listening to uncover your soul's true and most magnificent calling? Remember to subscribe to Success Attraction Formula. Give this video a like and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 3: Uncovering Your Soul's True Calling. A master sculptor was once asked how he was able to take a rough, shapeless block of marble and transform it into a breathtakingly beautiful and lifelike statue. He replied, "The statue was already in the marble. I just had to chip away the pieces that were not the statue." This is a profound and beautiful metaphor for the process of uncovering your soul's true calling. Every single person who is born onto this earth is like that block of marble. Within you, at the very core of your being, there already exists a magnificent masterpiece. This masterpiece is your unique purpose, your divine calling, the sacred work you came here to do. It is the perfect and most joyful expression of your unique gifts and talents. It is not something you have to invent, to create, or to force into existence. It is already there, fully formed, waiting patiently within you. The work of uncovering your soul's calling is not a work of addition, but a work of subtraction. It is the gentle, loving, and courageous process of chipping away all the pieces of yourself that are not your masterpiece. The fears, the limiting beliefs, the societal shoulds, and the false identities, until the beautiful, authentic, and powerful truth of your true calling is finally and gloriously revealed. The great challenge is that we have been taught to look for our calling in the outside world. We have been told that our purpose is a specific job title or a particular career path that we must find and achieve. This external search often leads to a life of frustration, of confusion, and of feeling like we are a ship without a rudder. We feel lost and purposeless because we are looking for our masterpiece in someone else's quarry. The transformative and most liberating solution is to understand that you will not find your calling in the world. You will uncover it within yourself. Your soul's calling is an inside job. It is a journey of self-discovery, of listening deeply to the whispers of your own heart, and of having the courage to follow the path that feels most alive and most authentic to you, regardless of what the outside world may think. It is also crucial that you redefine your understanding of what a calling is. A calling is not necessarily a grand, a world-changing, or a heroic mission. For some it might be. But for many of us, our calling is a much quieter, a more gentle, and a more personal expression. Your calling is simply the unique and beautiful way that your soul is meant to express itself in the world. It is the sacred intersection of three powerful things: your greatest and most authentic joy, your natural and God-given talents, and a way to be of loving service to others. When you can find the beautiful and unique place where these three circles overlap, you will have uncovered the magnificent masterpiece that has been waiting within you all along. The first and most joyful step in this process of discovery is to follow the trail of your joy. Your authentic joy is the most reliable and the most truthful compass you have on the path to uncovering your calling. The activities, the subjects, and the environments that make you lose all track of time, that make you feel expansive, that light you up, and that make you feel most like your true self are not random distractions. They are the divine breadcrumbs that your soul is leaving for you to follow. The practice is to become a joy detective. You will take your journal, and you will create a list of all the moments, the activities, and the experiences in your entire life, from early childhood to the present day, where you have felt a state of pure, unadulterated joy and flow. What were you doing? Were you building something? Were you teaching someone? Were you creating art? Were you organizing something? Were you in nature? Were you with people? Or were you alone? Be as detailed as possible. As you create this list, you will begin to see a pattern emerge. You will see a golden thread, a recurring theme of joy that has been weaving its way through your entire life. This golden thread is the primary clue to the nature of your soul's calling. Once you have identified the golden thread of your joy, the second step is to honor your natural talents. Every person is born with a unique set of innate gifts and abilities, the things that you do naturally and often effortlessly. These are the master sculptor's chisels, the unique tools you have been given to help you carve your masterpiece. Often, we take our own natural talents so for granted that we do not even see them as special. The practice here is to inventory your gifts. You will ask yourself, what comes easily to me that seems to be difficult for others? Perhaps you have a natural gift for making people feel comfortable and heard. Perhaps you have a natural talent for seeing patterns and for organizing complex information. Perhaps you have a natural ability to create beauty with your hands, with words, or with music. To get a clearer picture, you can also ask a few trusted and loving friends or family members, what do you see as my greatest natural strengths or talents? Their answers may surprise you. By creating a clear and an appreciative list of your innate gifts, you are acknowledging the specific and beautiful set of tools that you have been given to express your unique calling in the world. The third and final step in uncovering your calling is the service synthesis. A true soul calling is never just about your own personal fulfillment. It is always, in some way, an expression of loving service to the world. The ultimate joy and abundance is found not just in doing what you love, but in using what you love to make a positive contribution to the lives of others. The practice here is to take the insights from your previous two exercises and to synthesize them. You will look at your golden thread of joy and your inventory of gifts, and you will ask the powerful, creative question, how can I use the things that bring me the most joy and the things that I am naturally good at to be of service to others in some small and beautiful way? For example, a man whose joy thread is being in nature and whose natural talent is teaching and explaining things clearly might synthesize these into a calling to become a nature guide for children. A woman whose joy thread is creating beautiful, organized spaces and whose natural talent is compassionate listening might uncover a calling to help people declutter their homes in a gentle and a therapeutic way. The act of service does not have to be a grand gesture. It can be small, it can be local, and it can be quiet. But when you can find that beautiful and unique synthesis of your joy, your talents, and an act of service, you will have uncovered the powerful, the resonant, and the deeply fulfilling essence of your soul's true calling. You are now uncovering the beautiful, the magnificent, and the deeply authentic masterpiece that has been waiting patiently within you. You are beginning to hear the clear and the powerful call of your own soul. You can feel its resonant pull and its divine power. But as you prepare to take your first courageous steps onto this new and magnificent path, a powerful and an ancient guardian will often rise up from the shadows to block your way. How do you now begin to face and to gently release the deep-seated, the powerful, and the often paralyzing fears that have been hiding your soul's magnificent light from the world for far too long? Remember to subscribe to Success Attraction Formula, give this video a like, and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 4: Releasing the Fears That Hide Your Soul. Your greatest and most profound fears are not the roadblocks that are standing on your path. They are, in fact, the powerful and the ancient gatekeepers who are standing guard before the magnificent door to your most expansive and most beautiful life. To pass through this gate, you do not need to fight them, you do not need to slay them, and you do not need to conquer them. You simply need to understand them, to listen to their message, and to walk forward with them, hand in hand. As you begin to get closer to the beautiful, the authentic, and the powerful calling of your own soul, it is almost inevitable that your deepest and most primal fears will be triggered and will rise to the surface. The fear of failure will whisper, "What if you try this and you fall flat on your face?" The fear of judgment will scream, "What will people think of you if you do something so different?" The fear of the unknown will paralyze you with its endless what-ifs. And perhaps most subtly and most powerfully of all, the fear of your own success, the fear of your own light, will rise up and it will ask, "Who are you to be so powerful, so brilliant, and so magnificent?" These fears can feel so completely overwhelming, so real, and so viscerally powerful that they can cause us to abandon our beautiful soul-aligned calling and to retreat back to the safety, the comfort, and the familiar misery of our old, unfulfilling life. The transformative and most courageous solution is not to try to become fearless. A life without fear is not the goal, nor is it even possible for a human being. The solution is to fundamentally change your relationship with fear. You must learn to reframe fear, not as an enemy that is trying to stop you, but as a misguided and a deeply loving protector that is simply trying to keep you safe. You must understand that the part of your brain that generates fear, your ancient survival instinct, has a very simple and a very singular job: to keep you alive by keeping you in the familiar territory of your past. Any step you take in the direction of your soul's calling is a step into the unknown, and to your primal brain, the unknown is always perceived as a potential threat. Your fear is not a stop sign. It is simply a sign that you are at the edge of your comfort zone and that you are about to grow. When you can learn to see your fear not as a warning to turn back, but as a confirmation that you are heading in the right direction, your entire relationship with it changes. It transforms from a prison guard that keeps you locked in your past into a faithful and an ever-present travel companion on the magnificent journey to your most authentic and abundant life. The first step in this new relationship is to practice compassionate inquiry. When you feel the powerful and often uncomfortable sensations of fear rising in your body, your old, habitual reaction is likely to resist it, to suppress it, or to distract yourself from it. Your new practice will be to turn toward the fear with a gentle and a loving curiosity. You will learn to have a dialogue with it. You will treat it as a scared and a well-intentioned part of your own consciousness that simply needs to be heard and to be reassured. You can do this in your journal or in a quiet, meditative state. You will ask your fear a series of compassionate questions. You will ask, "Dear fear, what are you trying to protect me from right now?" Listen for the answer. The fear of failure might reply, "I'm trying to protect you from the pain of humiliation and disappointment." The fear of judgment might say, "I'm trying to protect you from being rejected by your community." By understanding your fear's positive and protective intention, you can then respond to it with love and with reassurance, as you would to a frightened child. You can say to it, "Thank you for trying to protect me. I deeply appreciate your love and your concern. But I want you to know that I am the wise, capable adult here, and I have got this. We are safe. I will not let you be in charge of my decisions, but I will not abandon you. You can come with me." This compassionate dialogue is a profound act of self-love that immediately lowers the emotional intensity of the fear and restores your sense of inner peace and power. The second step is to learn how to shrink the perceived stakes. Fear gets most of its terrifying power by making the potential consequences of our actions seem catastrophic and life-threatening. Our imagination can be a powerful tool for creation, but it can also be a powerful tool for creating terrifying fantasies. You must learn to become the calm, rational, and loving adult who can distinguish between a real, saber-toothed tiger threat and an imagined paper tiger threat. The practice for this is worst-case scenario deconstruction. When you're feeling paralyzed by the fear of taking a specific action, you will take out your journal and you will write down the absolute most terrifying worst-case scenario that your fear can imagine. Be specific. Then, you will ask yourself 3 powerful and grounding questions. First, on a scale of 1 to 10, what is the realistic probability of this actually happening? Often, you will realize that your catastrophic fantasy has a very low probability. Second, if this worst-case scenario were to happen, would I, in the end, survive? The answer to this is almost always a resounding yes. A moment of embarrassment, a financial loss, or a project that does not work out are not life-threatening events. Third, what is one small, simple thing I could do to cope if this were to happen? By systematically deconstructing your fear in this way, you take it out of the realm of vague, overwhelming terror, and you bring it into the light of a manageable and a solvable problem. You shrink the monster down to a manageable size, which makes it far easier to face with courage. The third and ultimate step in releasing the paralyzing noise of fear is to understand the profound and simple truth that action is the antidote. You can do all the beautiful inner work of reframing, of dialogue, and of deconstruction. But the only thing that truly and permanently dissolves fear is taking consistent and courageous action in its presence. Fear cannot survive the bright and powerful light of forward momentum. However, the action you take does not have to be a giant, a terrifying, or a heroic leap. In fact, small, consistent, and manageable actions are far more effective at dissolving fear than large, infrequent, and overwhelming ones. The practice for this is the 2-minute action rule. When you are feeling completely paralyzed by the fear of moving forward on your soul's calling, you will make a simple and a non-negotiable commitment to yourself. You will commit to taking just 2 minutes of action toward your goal. Just 2 minutes. If you are afraid to write your book, your commitment is to simply open the document and to write for just 2 minutes. If you are afraid to start your new health regimen, your commitment is to simply put on your running shoes and to walk for just 2 minutes. Anyone, no matter how frightened, can do something for just 2 minutes. What this powerful practice does is it breaks the powerful and the hypnotic spell of inertia that fear creates. It gets you into motion. And as the great law of physics states, an object in motion tends to stay in motion. More often than not, your 2 minutes of action will turn into 5 and then into 10. And you will have gracefully and almost effortlessly broken through the initial wall of fear without a dramatic or a painful battle. This is how true, sustainable courage is built. Not by waiting for the fear to go away, but by taking small, loving, and manageable actions in its very presence. You are now learning to walk with your fears, transforming them from the powerful prison guards of your past into the faithful and ever-present travel companions on your magnificent new journey. The path of your soul's calling is becoming clearer, it is becoming brighter, and it is becoming less obstructed with each courageous step you take. Now that you are learning to move forward in the presence of fear, how do you now begin to take consistent, a powerful, and a highly effective action on this path, not from the old, familiar place of struggle and of force, but from a new and a profound place of deep, of joyful, and of powerful inner alignment? Remember to subscribe to Success Attraction Formula, give this video a like, and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 5. Taking Action from a Place of Alignment. Consider a magnificent sailboat poised in the middle of a vast and beautiful ocean. A powerful, a steady, and a benevolent wind is blowing, a divine wind that has the power to carry the ship to any magnificent destination it chooses. The sailor on this ship does not create the wind. The wind is a gift of nature, an ever-present force of the universe. However, to get anywhere, the sailor cannot just sit passively in the cabin and hope that the wind will magically push their vessel in the right direction. They must engage with the wind. They must step onto the deck. They must hoist the sails. They must feel the precise direction of the current beneath them. And they must skillfully and actively adjust their rudder and their sails to catch the wind's magnificent power and to steer their vessel gracefully and purposefully toward their chosen destination. This is the beautiful, the dynamic, and the co-creative art of sailing, and it is a perfect and a profound metaphor for the next stage of your journey, taking action on the path of your soul's calling. The universe, in response to your deep inner listening and your clarified, soul-aligned intention, will begin to provide the powerful, the invisible, and the benevolent wind of opportunity, of inspiration, and of divine grace. But you, as the conscious and the capable captain of your own magnificent ship, must now do your part. You must learn how to hoist your own sails, how to feel the direction of the current, and how to steer your own rudder in a beautiful, a joyful, and a co-creative dance with this divine and powerful wind. The great challenge at this stage of the journey is that we can become stuck in a state of inaction. Having uncovered our beautiful calling, we can become paralyzed, waiting for a perfect, a detailed, and a complete map, or for a guaranteed, a storm-free, and a risk-free forecast. Or, just as commonly, we can revert to our old, painful, and deeply conditioned habits of trying to row the boat with all of our might, using the brute and the exhausting force of our ego's hustle mentality, completely ignoring the beautiful and the powerful wind that is so lovingly and so patiently trying to help us. The transformative and the most empowering solution is to learn the sacred and the beautiful art of taking soul-aligned action. This is a new, a profound, and a fundamentally different way of moving through the world. It is not the passive and the often stagnant inaction of waiting, nor is it the stressful, the forceful, and the resistant action of struggle. Soul-aligned action is a beautiful, a graceful, and an incredibly powerful third way. It is the sacred art of listening deeply and constantly to the guidance of your soul's inner compass, and then taking the conscious, the courageous, and the inspired steps in the direction that your own inner wisdom is so clearly and so lovingly pointing you. It is about deeply and fundamentally understanding that you are in a magnificent and a powerful partnership with the universe. The universe's job is to provide the wind. Your job is to skillfully, to joyfully, and to courageously raise your sails to catch it. When you can learn to act not from a place of fear, of lack, or of force, but from this deep, this calm, and this centered place of true inner alignment, your actions become exponentially more powerful, more effective, and more magical. You stop trying to swim against the current, and you start to masterfully sail with the divine wind, moving toward your most abundant, your most joyful, and your most fulfilling life with a sense of grace, of ease, and of a beautiful, a divine, and an unstoppable momentum. The first and most important principle in this new and beautiful way of acting is to learn to distinguish in your own body between inspired action and effortful action. The profound difference between these two is not in the action itself, but in the energetic and the emotional quality that you bring to it. Effortful action, which is the native language of the ego and of the old and the outdated scarcity mindset, almost always feels heavy. It feels like a should. It feels like a have to, or it feels like a dreaded chore on your to-do list. It is the distinct and the unmistakable feeling of pushing a giant and a heavy boulder uphill. It drains your precious energy. It creates a feeling of resistance, and it is almost always rooted in a deep and a nagging fear of not doing enough. Inspired action, on the other hand, is the native language of your soul. It feels light, it feels exciting, it feels joyful, and it often feels almost completely effortless. It is a want to, not a have to. It is the exhilarating and the beautiful feeling of being gently but irresistibly pulled forward by a powerful and an invisible current of inspiration and of flow. It is the feeling of catching a perfect and a benevolent wind in your sails. Your first practice, therefore, is to become a true connoisseur of this energetic and emotional difference. Before you take any action that is related to your soul's calling, you will pause for a moment, you will take a breath, and you will check in with your body compass. You will ask, does the thought of this action feel heavy and contractive, or does it feel light and expansive? You will begin to use this simple and this profound feeling as your primary and your most trustworthy guide for what to do next. The second principle of soul-aligned action is to learn to deeply and completely trust the next right step. Your soul and the universe, in their infinite and their compassionate wisdom, will very rarely reveal the entire, the detailed, and the 10-year plan to you all at once. To do so would be completely and utterly overwhelming for your beautiful but limited human mind. Instead, the universe will almost always guide you one single, simple, and manageable step at a time. It will lovingly and perfectly illuminate the very next stone on the path, but it will often keep the ones beyond that shrouded in a mysterious and a beautiful mist. Your sacred work is to cultivate the deep and the profound trust, to take that one next right step without needing to see the entire staircase. The practice for this is to quiet your mind using the beautiful techniques you learned in the earlier chapters, and to ask your soul a simple, a beautiful, and a powerful question. What is the one, small, joyful, and most loving step that I can take today that will move me in the beautiful direction of my soul's calling? You will then quiet yourself, and you will listen for the answer. This answer will likely not come as a loud and a booming command, but as a quiet and intuitive and a gentle nudge, a subtle feeling of being pulled in a certain direction. For example, your soul's calling is to write a magnificent book. The thought of writing an entire book is completely overwhelming, and it leads to paralysis. But when you quiet your mind and you ask for your next right step, the quiet and the gentle answer might be, just open a new document on your computer and write a single, beautiful, and inspiring title. Or the answer might be, go to the library and check out a beautiful book by your favorite author simply for the joy of inspiration. The step will always be something that feels manageable, and very often it will be something that feels joyful. By learning to deeply trust and to immediately act on this gentle, this loving, and this step-by-step guidance, you are learning to walk the sacred path of faith, a path that will always and inevitably lead you to your magnificent and your soul-aligned destination. The third and the final principle is to understand that your action is a conversation. Every single aligned action you take, no matter how small, is not just a step toward your goal. It is a powerful and a clear communication back to the universe. It is your active and your tangible yes in the ongoing and the beautiful dialogue of creation. It is a powerful declaration of your commitment, of your faith, and of your readiness to be a full and an active co-creator. When you take a small, an inspired, and an aligned action, you are sending a powerful and a resonant signal that says, I heard your whisper. I am listening. I am joyfully and courageously engaged in this beautiful dance with you. And the universe, which is always and in all ways responsive, will always, without fail, respond to this signal of your action by sending you the next whisper, the next clue, the next breadcrumb, and the next beautiful opportunity. For instance, you feel the intuitive and inspired nudge to reach out to an old acquaintance from your past. You take the aligned action and you send a short and a friendly email. That person writes back to you, and in their email, they happen to mention a resource, a person, or an opportunity that you desperately needed to know about. Their reply is the universe's next beautiful move in the conversation, a response that you could only have possibly received after you took your own courageous step. This is how true, a magical, and a sustainable momentum is built. It is a beautiful, a responsive, and a back-and-forth dance of guidance and of action. You listen, you act, the universe responds, you listen again, you act again. By joyfully engaging in this constant and this beautiful dialogue, you are no longer just a person who is trying to manifest a calling. You are a person who is living in a dynamic, a magical, and a constantly and a beautifully unfolding co-creative partnership with the cosmos itself. You are now learning to walk the sacred and the powerful path of your soul's calling. You are no longer paralyzed by the noise of fear. You are learning to move forward with a new and a beautiful kind of action, an action that is born not of a painful struggle, but of a deep, a powerful, and a joyful inner alignment. But as you continue to walk this beautiful and this new path, how does your very definition of abundance itself begin to shift and to expand? What if true, a deep, and a soul-level wealth is not just about the money that you accumulate in your bank account, but about a far richer, a more beautiful, and a more magnificent tapestry of human experience? How do you now learn to powerfully redefine wealth and to joyfully open yourself to a true abundance of everything? Remember to subscribe to Success Attraction Formula, give this video a like, and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 6. Redefining Wealth and Abundance of Everything. For generations and for centuries, we have been taught to measure the wealth and the value of a human life with a very narrow, a very unforgiving, and a very limited ruler. We have been taught, by our culture and by our society, to equate the concept of wealth almost exclusively with the numbers that appear in our bank accounts, with the size and the location of our homes, and with the long and the impressive list of our material possessions. The soul, however, has a very different, a much more expansive, and a far more magnificent way of measuring wealth. The soul measures the true richness of a life not with a cold and a linear ruler, but with a warm and open and a loving heart. It measures our wealth in the beautiful and the intangible units of joy. It measures our wealth in the priceless moments of deep and of authentic connection. It measures our wealth in the precious and the sacred currency of our vibrant health and our passionate energy. And it measures our wealth in the profound and the lasting fulfillment that comes from a life that is lived with a deep and an abiding sense of purpose. As you continue to walk the beautiful and the sacred path of your soul's calling, it is absolutely essential that you begin to consciously and deliberately expand and to elevate your own definition of what it means to be truly wealthy. The great and the subtle challenge is that even as we begin to live a purposeful, a more joyful, and a more an authentic life, we can still be haunted, and we can still be judged by the old, the narrow, and the culturally ingrained definition of success. You might be living a life that is incredibly and magnificently rich in joy, in passion, in connection, and in purpose. But if your bank account does not yet match the arbitrary numbers that our society has deemed to be successful, you can fall into the painful and the discouraging trap of believing that you are still poor, or that your beautiful, soulful path is not working. This limited and this flawed definition of wealth can create a profound and a painful sense of frustration, and it can even cause us to abandon our beautiful, our soul-aligned path in favor of a conventionally lucrative but a far less a fulfilling one. The transformative and the most joyful solution is to consciously and to deliberately redefine your wealth. You must lovingly and gently release the old, the one-dimensional, and the unforgiving ruler of money. And you must adopt your soul's beautiful, your soul's expansive, and your soul's multidimensional system of measurement. This is the sacred art of learning to see, to acknowledge, and to joyfully celebrate the magnificent and the multifaceted abundance that is already flowing into your life right here and right now, in this very moment. When you can learn to see your true wealth, not just as the money that you have, but as the precious time that you have, as the deep love that you have, as the vibrant health that you have, and as the sacred purpose that you have, your entire and your whole experience of reality shifts. You move from a state of not enough to a state of profound, of unshakable, and of undeniable more than enough. This powerful, this truthful, and this beautiful state of being, this deep and a resonant feeling of being already rich in all the ways that truly and deeply matter, is the very energy that then, as a beautiful and an almost secondary byproduct, begins to attract even more financial abundance and prosperity into your life. The universe absolutely loves to give more to those who are already and are deeply appreciative of what they have. The first principle in this profound and a beautiful redefinition is to understand and to embrace the four currencies of the soul. While money is a beautiful, a useful, and a necessary form of currency in our world, it is just one of many. A truly and a soulfully wealthy person is a person who is rich in at least four other essential and life-giving currencies. The very first of these is the precious currency of time. This is not just about having more hours in the day. It is about the deep and the profound feeling of spaciousness and of freedom in how you choose to use your time. It is the incredible wealth of not being constantly rushed, of having the time for deep rest, for spontaneous play, and for being truly and fully present with the people that you love. The second of these is the vibrant currency of energy. This is the profound wealth of a strong and a healthy body, of a passionate and an engaged mind, and of an enthusiastic and a resilient spirit. It is the beautiful feeling of waking up in the morning, feeling genuinely excited about your day, with a body and a mind that are ready to joyfully and to creatively engage with life. The third of these is the beautiful currency of connection. This is the profound and the priceless wealth of deep, of loving, and of supportive relationships. It is the incredible richness of feeling truly seen, of a sense of belonging, and of sharing your life's journey with a beautiful tribe of people who love you, who celebrate you, and who support you. The fourth of these is the sacred currency of contribution. This is the deep, the profound, and the soul-level wealth of living a life of true and of authentic purpose. It is the lasting and the profound fulfillment that comes from the deep knowing that you are using your unique and your beautiful gifts to make a positive and a meaningful difference in the world, however big or small. The practice is to begin to see these four currencies as being just as valuable, if not more so, than your financial currency. To bring this new and an expansive definition into the fabric of your daily life, you will practice the daily wealth inventory. At the end of each day, you will take your journal and you will lovingly log your income for that day in all five of the currencies. Under the heading Money, you will of course log any financial income that you received, but then you will continue with the other equally important currencies. Under the heading Time, you will ask yourself, in what ways was I rich in the currency of time today? You might write down, my morning meeting was canceled, which gave me a beautiful and an unexpected hour of quiet, creative time all to myself. Under Energy, you might write, I had a powerful and a sustained surge of creative energy this afternoon, and I made incredible and joyful progress on my most important project. Under Connection, you might write, I had a beautiful, a deep, and a heart-to-heart conversation with my best friend today that left me feeling so incredibly loved and so deeply supported. And under Contribution, you might write, I was able to help a colleague with a difficult problem today, and it felt so wonderful and so fulfilling to be of service to them. This simple, a consistent, and a beautiful daily practice will powerfully and dramatically retrain your brain. You will begin to see, with clear and with undeniable evidence, that you are already living a life of magnificent, of beautiful, and of multifaceted wealth. This profound realization immediately and powerfully dissolves the old, the painful, and the persistent feeling of lack. As you continue to consistently practice this, you will come to a profound and a beautiful realization about the nature of money itself. You will see, with a newfound clarity, that money is a byproduct of a soulfully abundant and a well-lived life. It is not the cause of it. In the old, the outdated, and the scarcity-based paradigm, we are taught to believe that we must first chase, that we must struggle for, and that we must accumulate money, and then, and only then, will we have the freedom, the energy, and the ability to contribute to the world. The beautiful and the powerful soul of abundance operates on the exact opposite and a more graceful principle. When you first and primarily focus on maximizing your wealth in the four currencies of the soul, when you consciously and lovingly align your life with what gives you the most time freedom, the most vibrant and the most passionate energy, the most beautiful and the most loving connections, and the most profound and a lasting sense of contribution, which is the very definition of living your soul's true calling, you naturally and you automatically move into an incredibly high, a beautiful, and a powerfully magnetic vibrational state. You are living a life of deep joy, of authentic passion, and of loving service. You are creating immense and a beautiful value in the world. And as a natural and effortless and an inevitable byproduct of living in this beautiful, this powerful, and this high-frequency state, the fifth currency, money, will begin to flow to you with an ease, with a grace, and with a beautiful surprise that you could never have possibly achieved through struggle and through force. You are no longer desperately chasing money. You are allowing your soul's beautiful and authentic purpose to joyfully and to effortlessly call it in for you. You are now learning to see your life and your wealth through the wise, the loving, and the expansive eyes of your own magnificent soul. You are powerfully redefining your understanding of what it means to be truly wealthy, and you are beginning to see the magnificent, the beautiful, and the multifaceted abundance that is already and is always all around you and within you. But as you continue to live from this new, this beautiful, and this soul-aligned place, how do you now become a powerful, a radiant, and an irresistible magnet for the soul-aligned opportunities, for the beautiful people, and for the magnificent resources that are a perfect and a resonant match for your magnificent and your new vision? How do you learn to attract your good, not through a painful striving, but through the simple, the beautiful, and the powerful act of being your most authentic and your most magnificent self? Remember to subscribe to Success Attraction Formula, give this video a like, and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 7. Becoming a Magnet for Soulful Opportunities. A woman who had spent many years feeling deeply unfulfilled and creatively stifled in her safe but a soulless corporate job finally uncovered her soul's true and beautiful calling to create beautiful, unique, and sustainable handmade jewelry. She began to dedicate all of her evenings and all of her weekends to her new and exciting craft, not with the stressful intention of starting a business, but simply as a profound and a beautiful act of pure joy. She poured all of her love, all of her passion, and all of her authentic and a unique creative energy into every single piece that she made. One day, while wearing one of her own unique and a beautiful necklaces, she was standing in line at her local coffee shop. The owner of a very popular and a highly respected local boutique, who happened to be standing behind her in line, was completely captivated by the beautiful and the unique necklace. She gently tapped the woman on the shoulder, and she asked where she had gotten it. The woman, a little shyly, explained that she had made it herself. The boutique owner, who could feel the authentic, the passionate, and the beautiful energy of the woman and her magnificent creation, immediately and excitedly offered to feature her jewelry in her prestigious store. This single, a seemingly coincidental, and a completely unplanned encounter was the beautiful and the magical beginning of a thriving, a joyful, and a deeply fulfilling new career for the jewelry maker. This is not a story of luck. It is a story of physics. It is a perfect and a beautiful demonstration of what happens when you stop hunting for opportunities and you start to become a powerful magnet for soulful opportunities. The great and the common challenge is that we have all been taught that we must hunt for our opportunities through aggressive networking, through relentless and often an inauthentic self-promotion, and through a constant, a draining, and an exhausting state of striving. We believe that we must chase after the opportunities that we desire. But this hunting energy is very often tense, it is needy, it is inauthentic, and it can actually and ironically repel the very people and the very opportunities that we are so desperately trying to attract. The transformative, the more graceful, and the infinitely more powerful solution is to completely and to totally shift your entire paradigm from one of hunting to one of attracting. You must learn to become a powerful, a radiant, and an utterly irresistible magnet for soulful opportunities. The profound and the simple key to this is to understand a deep, an energetic, and a fundamental principle. When you are living your life in a deep, a joyful, and an authentic alignment with your soul's true and unique calling, you begin to vibrate at your most powerful, your most pure, and your most uniquely authentic frequency. This authentic, this joyful, and this purposeful frequency acts like a powerful and a resonant magnetic beacon, a brilliant and a beautiful lighthouse that shines out from the core of your being into the universe. And by the infallible and the perfect law of resonance, the people, the resources, and the opportunities that are a perfect, a resonant, and a vibrational match for your unique and a beautiful light are naturally, they are effortlessly, and they are often miraculously drawn directly to you. You do not have to chase after them. You do not have to struggle to find them. You simply have to shine. Your only and your most important work is to focus on lovingly and on joyfully tending to the beautiful and the bright fire of your own authentic passion, and to deeply and to completely trust that those people and those opportunities who are meant to find you will be irresistibly and will be powerfully drawn to your warmth, to your beauty, and to your magnificent light. The first principle in activating your powerful magnetic and a beautiful power is to deeply and to completely understand that your calling is your magnetic core. Your single and your greatest point of attraction is not a clever sales pitch. It is not a perfect resume, and it is not an aggressive networking strategy. Your single and your greatest point of attraction is the pure, the authentic, and the high-frequency energy of your own soul's beautiful and unique purpose. Therefore, your primary and your most important work is not to focus on networking or on marketing in the traditional and the often a stressful sense. Your primary and your most important work is to focus on the joyful, on the passionate, and on the excellent expression of your own beautiful calling. You must dedicate yourself to the sacred and the beautiful craft itself. For the talented jewelry maker in our story, her magnetic and her powerful power was not in a business card. It was in the pure love, it was in the deep joy, and it was in the complete authenticity that she so lovingly and so beautifully poured into every single and a unique piece of jewelry that she made. This is your most important and your most sacred work. The practice is to focus on the joy of creation. Whatever your unique calling is, you must immerse yourself in the joyful and the passionate practice of it, for the sheer and the simple love of it, without an anxious, a needy, and a controlling attachment to the specific outcome. If you are a writer, you must write. If you are a healer, you must heal. If you are a teacher, you must teach. It is this authentic, this passionate, and this joyful energy of pure creation that generates the powerful, the beautiful, and the irresistible magnetic field all around you. You're not trying to get something from the world. You are joyfully and you are generously giving your unique and your beautiful gift to the world. And this generous, this beautiful, and this joyful energy is what makes the world so incredibly and so deeply eager to give back to you. The second principle is the power of authentic visibility. While your primary and your most important focus is on your sacred inner work and on your beautiful creative expression, you must also have the courage to make your beautiful light visible to the world. A beautiful and a powerful lighthouse that is hidden behind a tall hill cannot guide the lost ships at sea. You must have the courage to gently, to lovingly, and to authentically share your passion and your beautiful journey with others. This is not about a boastful, an arrogant, or an inauthentic self-promotion. It is about a vulnerable, a beautiful, and an authentic act of sharing. The practice is to become an open channel for your beautiful calling. You can do this by starting a blog, a podcast, or a social media account that is dedicated not to selling anything, but to simply and to joyfully sharing your passion with the world. The beautiful jewelry maker might share beautiful pictures of her creative and a messy process. The passionate writer might share small and inspiring excerpts of their beautiful work. The compassionate healer might share helpful, a practical, and a loving tips and insights with others. By openly and by authentically sharing what you truly love, you are making yourself visible to the people and to the opportunities that are already and are actively looking for you. Another powerful and a beautiful practice is to simply and to joyfully talk about your passion in your daily and your ordinary conversations. When someone asks you what you have been up to lately, do not just give a polite, a boring, and a surface-level answer. Share what you are truly and are genuinely excited about. Your genuine, your authentic, and your passionate enthusiasm is incredibly magnetic, and it is irresistibly attractive, and you never ever know who might be listening. The third and the final principle is to deeply and to completely trust the divine connections. When you are living your life as a powerful and a beautiful magnet, the universe will begin to bring the right and the perfect people into your life at the right and the perfect time. Your sacred work is to deeply and to completely trust this beautiful and a magical process, and to be wide open to the beautiful connections that begin to appear, even when they do not seem to be directly and are obviously related to your specific goal. The practice is to honor every encounter. You will begin to see every single person that you meet as a potential and a beautiful gift, as a potential and a wise guide, or as a potential and a crucial stepping stone on your beautiful path. You will engage with all people from a place of a genuine, a loving, and an open curiosity, and with an open and a beautiful heart. For example, you are at a community event, and you feel a quiet and an intuitive nudge to go and to speak to a quiet, an elderly, and a seemingly unimportant person in the corner. Your logical and your strategic mind might tell you to go and to network with the important and the influential people in the room. But you have learned to trust the beautiful nudge of your soul. You have a beautiful, a deep, and a heartfelt conversation with this person. And at the end of it, they happen to mention that their own child is a powerful and an influential figure in the very industry that you are trying to enter. And they lovingly and they generously offer to make a personal introduction. The divine and the perfect connection came through the most and unexpected and a beautiful channel. By deeply trusting your intuition and by lovingly honoring every single encounter as a sacred and a potentially a significant event, you are allowing the universe to work its beautiful and its benevolent magic and to connect all the dots for you in the most beautiful, a creative, and a surprising ways. You are now not just a person with a beautiful and a sacred calling. You are a living, a breathing, and a powerful magnet, effortlessly and joyfully attracting the perfect, the soul-aligned, and the magnificent opportunities, people, and resources that are a perfect and a resonant match for your authentic and your beautiful self. You are no longer desperately chasing abundance. You are allowing your own beautiful and a unique light to joyfully and to effortlessly call it in. But what is the ultimate and the most beautiful and a magnificent expression of this new and a beautiful reality? What does it mean to move from being a person who is actively manifesting a soulful and a beautiful life to a person who is simply and who is beautifully living a life that is, in its very essence, a constant, a joyful, and a magnificent fulfillment of the soul? Remember to subscribe to Success Attraction Formula, give this video a like, and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 8. Living a Life That Fulfills You. A master musician does not dedicate their entire life, with all its long hours of discipline and of practice, to the singular goal of one day performing a single, a perfect, and a flawless concert and then never ever playing again. The magnificent concert is a beautiful and a wonderful moment, a glorious and a celebratory milestone, but it is not, and it never was, the ultimate goal. The true and the ultimate goal of the dedicated musician is to reach a profound and a beautiful state of mastery where they can live a life that is filled with the constant, the beautiful, and the effortless joy of making music. The goal is not the singular, a fleeting performance. It is the beautiful, the magnificent, and the continuous state of being a musician. This is the final, the most profound, and the most beautiful truth on your own sacred and a beautiful journey to a soulfully abundant and a magnificent life. You have done the magnificent, the courageous, and the deep work of connecting with your soul, of uncovering your sacred calling, of releasing your paralyzing fears, of taking divinely aligned action, of redefining your true wealth, and of becoming a powerful and a beautiful magnet for soulful and a magnificent opportunities. The ultimate and the most beautiful goal of all of this sacred and a beautiful work was not just to help you to manifest a single, a specific, and an external outcome, a singular and a magnificent concert of success. The ultimate and the most beautiful goal was to lovingly and to gracefully guide you to a place where you can now live your entire and your magnificent life as a beautiful, a joyful, and a continuous symphony of your own soul's beautiful and a unique expression. The final and the most common challenge is to stop seeing living a fulfilling life as a future and a distant destination that you must one day finally arrive at, and to realize, with a profound and a beautiful clarity, that it is a daily, a moment-to-moment, and a present-tense practice of being. People can achieve a great and a magnificent goal. They can have their magnificent and a beautiful concert. But if they were only and were solely focused on the destination, they can find themselves feeling empty, they can feel lost, and they can feel confused the day after the magnificent performance is over. The transformative and the ultimate solution is to fully and to completely live a life that fulfills you, starting right here and right now, in this very moment. This is the beautiful, the sacred, and the profound art of integration. It is the point where all of the powerful and the beautiful principles and the sacred and the loving practices of this guide are no longer a set of techniques that you are consciously doing, but have become the very fabric and the very essence of your being. You are no longer practicing to become a fulfilled and a magnificent person. You are naturally, and you are joyfully living as a fulfilled and a magnificent person. When you reach this profound and a beautiful state of being, you have achieved the ultimate and the most magnificent success. Your life is no longer a painful and an exhausting struggle to get somewhere. It is a joyful and a beautiful expression of the magnificent and the beautiful place you are already at. The outer and the tangible manifestations of abundance, the money, the opportunities, the beautiful things, will continue to joyfully and to effortlessly flow to you, but they will come as a natural and an almost secondary byproduct of the deep, the profound, and the unshakable sense of fulfillment that you now and forever carry within you at all times. The first principle in living this magnificent and a fulfilled life is to deeply and to completely understand that fulfillment is a daily choice. True, a lasting and a sustainable fulfillment is not found in the big, the dramatic, and the once-in-a-lifetime achievements. It is found, it is cultivated, and it is nurtured in the small, the simple, and the consistent moments of alignment with your soul's beautiful and a quiet voice in your daily and your ordinary life. The practice for this is a daily fulfillment check-in. At the end of each and every day, you will take a few quiet and a reflective moments to connect with yourself and to ask yourself a simple, a gentle, and a powerful question. In what small and a beautiful way did I honor my soul's sacred calling today? Your answer does not have to be a grand or a heroic gesture. It could be as simple and as beautiful as, I honored my soul today by taking 10 quiet and a beautiful minutes to read a book that truly and that deeply inspired me. Or I honored my soul today by having a truly a present, a loving and a connected conversation with my child. Or I honored my soul today by having the courage to say a gentle and a loving no to something that I knew, deep down, would drain my precious energy. By consciously and by lovingly acknowledging the small and the beautiful ways that you are already living in a deep and a true alignment with your soul every single day, you are constantly and you are powerfully reinforcing the profound and the beautiful truth that you are already living a magnificent and a fulfilling life. You are not waiting for a future and a distant event to feel fulfilled. You are actively, you are consciously, and you are joyfully cultivating that beautiful and a sacred feeling in your present moment, which is the only place and the only time it can ever be found. The second principle is the integration of being and doing. At this beautiful and a magnificent stage of mastery, the old, the painful, and the artificial separation between who you are and what you do for a living begins to beautifully and to gracefully dissolve. Your life becomes a seamless, a beautiful, and a joyful expression of your soul's true and a unique purpose. Your work is no longer something that you have to do to earn a living. It becomes your joyful, your passionate, and your creative play. The practice here is to continue to make your life's choices, both the big and the small, from the central, the clear, and the unwavering question, is this in alignment with my soul's beautiful and a sacred calling? You will find yourself naturally, you will find yourself gracefully, and you will find yourself almost effortlessly letting go of the activities, the obligations, and even the relationships that are not in a true and a deep resonance with your authentic and your beautiful self. And you will find yourself naturally, you will find yourself joyfully, and you will find yourself passionately dedicating more and more of your precious time and of your beautiful energy to the people, to the projects, and to the experiences that make your heart and your soul sing. Your life begins to feel less like a compartmentalized, a stressful, and a fragmented series of tasks, and it begins to feel more like a single, a beautiful, and a coherent work of art, a magnificent and a beautiful masterpiece that you are joyfully, that you are passionately, and that you are consciously creating in every single and a sacred moment. The third and the ultimate principle of a soulfully abundant and a magnificent life is the profound and the beautiful realization that abundance is an inner state. The final, the most liberating, and the most beautiful truth is that the soul of abundance is not something that you have, it is something that you are. It is not a certain and an arbitrary number in your bank account. It is not a particular and a specific set of external and a fleeting circumstances, and it is not the fickle and the changing approval of others. The true and the lasting soul of abundance is the deep, the quiet, the profound, and the unshakable inner state of peace, of purpose, of love, and of connection that is completely and is totally independent of all external and of all changing conditions. When you have reached this beautiful and a sacred place, you have achieved true, you have achieved lasting, and you have achieved unshakable wealth. You have found the magnificent and the beautiful kingdom of heaven that is, and that has always been within you. The practice for this is simply to be. It is to rest in the beautiful, in the peaceful, and in the powerful awareness of your own divine and a magnificent nature. It is to know, on a deep and a cellular level, that you are a beloved and an integral part of a loving and an abundant universe, and that all is, and that all always will be, well. From this profound, this beautiful, and this unshakable inner state of being, you will continue to create and you will continue to attract beautiful things in your outer and your physical world, but you will no longer need them for your happiness. You will simply and you will joyfully enjoy them as a beautiful, a magnificent, and a delightful reflection of the magnificent, the beautiful, and the abundant soul that you have finally and that you have fully come home to. You have now walked the complete and the sacred path to the very soul of abundance. You have journeyed from the noisy, the chaotic, and the confusing world of the ego to the quiet, the clear, and the powerful inner world of your own magnificent and a beautiful soul. You have learned to connect with its beautiful voice, to listen to its profound wisdom, to uncover its unique and a sacred calling, to release the paralyzing fears that have hidden it, and to take joyful, a beautiful, and an aligned action. You have learned to see wealth as a rich, a beautiful, and a multifaceted experience, to become a powerful and a beautiful magnet for soulful and a magnificent opportunities, and finally, to live a life that is, in its very essence, a beautiful, a magnificent, and a continuous fulfillment of your own divine and a sacred nature. This is not the end of your beautiful journey, but it is the beautiful and the magnificent end of your long and a tiring search. You have finally found what you were looking for, and you have beautifully and you have profoundly discovered that it was, and that it always has been, right here, deep within you. We have come to the end of our journey together, a sacred path that has guided you from the noise of the outer world to the profound and loving wisdom of your own soul. You have learned to connect with your inner voice, to uncover your true calling, to release your fears, and to take aligned action. You have redefined wealth, you have become a magnet for soulful opportunities, and you are now equipped to live a life that is not just successful, but is deeply and truly fulfilling. You now understand that the greatest abundance is not something you can acquire, but is the beautiful, the magnificent, and the powerful soul that you already are. May you go forward and let your beautiful soul shine. Thank you for the honor of your time and for your courage to embark on this profound, inward journey. It has been a joy to be your guide. If this masterclass has helped you connect with the beautiful soul of your own abundance, please consider giving this video a like and subscribing to the Success Attraction Formula channel for more empowering guidance. We would be thrilled to read about the new, soul-aligned life you are creating in the comments below.